Facts about elephants. Elephants live in small family groups led by old females. Where food is plentiful, the groups join together. Most males live in bachelor herds apart from the cows. Males and females both possess two glands that open between the eye and ear. Elephants of all ages and sexes secrete a fluid called temporin out of this orifice. Males, however, enter a musth period, during which they secrete a fluid differing in viscosity from the fluid secreted when they are not in musth. Serum testosterone during musth is higher than in a non-musth elephant, and the animal's behavior is erratic. They are uncontrollable, sometimes even by their own handlers. Musth is the time for establishing reproductive hierarchy, which can differ from the usual social hierarchy in that a male in musth outranks non-musth males. In the wild, males are usually at their prime physical state during musth and ordinarily do most of the breeding. Elephants are able to assess the reproductive status of one another by using their keen sense of smell. Inside the skull, elephants possess from 7 to 9 nasal terminals with specialized sensitive tissues for olfaction. When a female is in estrus or when a male is in musth, an elephant apparently can detect airborne hormones. Once collected, the information is then passed to the Jacobson's organ, located on the roof of the mouth. This organ conveys the molecules to the brain for analysis. Hormones are also sniffed directly from urine and feces. Gestation is the longest of any mammal. The newborn elephant is about 1 meter tall and weighs about 100 kilograms. It suckles by using the mouth, not the trunk, at mammary glands located in the chest region. Weaning is a long process and sometimes continues until the mother can no longer tolerate the pokes of her offspring's emerging tusks. After weaning, many hours of each day are spent eating. Elephants reach sexual maturity early in their second decade of life. African elephants become sexually mature at age 10, 12, whereas Asian elephants become sexually mature about age 14. It is during that period that males leave their natal herd to live either singly or in small herds with other males. Females, in contrast, remain with their natal herd for their whole lives. Despite living apart, adult male and female elephants form short-lived mating or feeding associations with one another. Elephants can live to 80 years of age or more in captivity but live to only about 60 in the wild. Evidence does not substantiate the existence of so-called elephant graveyards, where elephants supposedly gather to die. Migration. Elephants migrate seasonally according to the availability of food and water. Memory plays an important role during this time, as they remember locations of water supplies along migration routes. Intelligence has also been observed in conjunction with memory. One elephant, using its tusks and trunk, stripped bark from a nearby tree and chewed it until it made a large ball, then plugged a water hole it had previously dug and covered the plug with sand. Subsequently, the elephant was seen to uncover the sand, unplug the hole, and drink, a behavior that could be interpreted as tool-making. One study of captive Asian elephants suggested that they are capable of recognizing themselves in a mirror, a trait shared by only a few other non-human animal species. Although unable to jump or gallop, elephants can reach a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Their feet are well adapted to carrying their great weight. The heel is partially elevated, and below it is a thick, fatty, fibrous wedge of tissue protected by thick skin. It is not easy for elephants to lie down and get up. They sleep lying down for 3 to 4 hours during the night. While standing, elephants doze for short periods but do not sleep deeply. An adult elephant consumes about 100 kilograms of food and 100 liters of water per day. These amounts can double for a hungry and thirsty individual. Such consumption makes elephants an important ecological factor. They substantially affect and even alter the ecosystems they live in. Conservation. At the beginning of the 21st century, fewer than 50,000 Asian elephants remained in the wild, threatened by habitat loss and poaching. Asian and African elephants are listed as endangered species. From 1979 to 1989, the number of African elephants in the wild was reduced by more than half, from 1,300,000 to 600,000, partly a result of commercial demand for ivory. However, in some parts of Africa, elephants are abundant, and culling is practiced in some reserves to prevent habitat destruction. A 9-year ban on the ivory trade was lifted in 1997, and Botswana, Namibia, and Zimbabwe were allowed to sell limited stocks of ivory from government warehouses to Japan. In 2000, South Africa joined the 3 southern African nations in selling limited amounts of ivory from existing stocks. Natural history. Male bush elephants often grow as tall as 3.24 meters at the shoulder and weigh up to between 4,500 and 6,100 kilograms, with the largest known bush elephant weighing 10,886 kilograms. Males, on average, are more than 20% taller than and nearly twice as heavy as females. To sustain themselves, these animals require 169 kilograms of food and up to 190 liters of water per day. A savanna elephant's food consists of grass, plants, fruit, twigs, roots, and tree bark. This diet must be supplemented with minerals, particularly salt, due to an insufficient amount of sodium in their other foods. Some of this sodium can be found in certain watering holes rich in the chemical element, but the rest is obtained through geophagy. On a hot day, an elephant might use its trunk to spray water onto its back to cool down or travel to watering holes to bathe in the water or mud. However, the African bush elephant relies primarily on its ears to dissipate heat. The ears can be up to 1.8 meters long and 1.2 meters wide, and they hold large blood vessels. Blood that passes through these vessels cools down before recirculating through the rest of the body, which, in turn, cools the rest of the elephant. Elephants lack large concentrations of sweat glands, although they have a few, occurring only in the feet, which do contribute slightly to cooling. The fundamental building block of the savanna elephant herd is the family unit, which may comprise up to 70 animals. There are no adult males in these families. They only associate with females for mating. The oldest and typically largest female elephant is the leader, called a matriarch. Pregnancies take 22 months, the longest gestation period of any mammal, and usually result in one calf, which is raised and protected by the entire herd. If the calf is male, it will leave the family unit at about 14 years of age to either live singly or with a herd of other young bulls. Classification and conservation status. The species L. africana encompassed all African elephants until the beginning of the 21st century, between 2000 and 2010. However, scientists began to recognize two separate species of African elephants, the African bush elephant L. africana and the African forest elephant L. cyclodes. While these two animals have much more in common with each other than they do with Asian elephants, there are several physical differences, in addition to genetic differences, that set them apart from one another. Bush elephants have larger ears that are more pointed and less oval-shaped than those of forest elephants. The tusks of bush elephants curve outward, whereas those of forest elephants are straighter and point down. The International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources has classified the African bush elephant as an endangered species since 2020. Previous assessments in 2004 and 2008, which did not distinguish between African bush and forest elephant species, classified African elephants as a vulnerable species. Since the 1970s, poaching has remained the primary threat to the species, since the animal is often hunted for its ivory tusks. Habitat loss stemming from changing land use and land cover also remains a significant threat in many parts of their range. The elephant's closest living relative is the rock hyrax. Eyesight. Elephants' eyes are small because of the position and size of the head and neck. They have limited peripheral vision. Reportedly, elephants have poor eyesight with a range of only 25 feet. This is slightly improved in forest shade. Skin. An elephant's skin is an inch thick in some areas but very thin behind their ears, under their legs, and around their eyes and rectum. Their skin is prone to irritation from insect bites. Asian elephants have more hair on their body than African elephants, and this is especially evident in young Asian elephants, who are covered in a coat of reddish-brown hair. The skin color of Asian elephants is dark gray to brown, with patches of pink on the forehead, the ears, and sometimes the base of the trunk and chest. Teeth. Elephants have 4 molars, one on the top and one on the bottom of both sides of the mouth. One molar can weigh about 5 pounds and is the size of a brick. Elephants have 6 sets of teeth over their lifetime, with old teeth being replaced as they wear out through use. New teeth grow in the back of the mouth and move forward to replace old worn sets. Once all of an elephant's teeth are used up, it is unable to feed properly. Solitary elephants will usually die of starvation, whereas herd elephants will help feed starving members of their group. Tail. Ears. Asian elephants' ears are much smaller than African elephants' ears. Elephants have large, thin ears made up of a complex network of blood vessels, which help with regulating an elephant's temperature. Blood is circulated through their ears to cool them down in hot climates. African elephants often use their ears to communicate visually. Flapping their ears can signify either aggression or joy. Brains, intelligence, and emotions. Elephants have a highly developed brain, the largest of all the land mammals. Their brain is 3 or 4 times larger than that of humans, although smaller as a proportion of body weight. Elephants are extremely intelligent animals and have memories that span many years. It is this memory that serves matriarchs well during dry seasons when they need to guide their herds, sometimes for tens of miles, to watering holes that they remember from the past. Elephants are highly sensitive and caring animals. If a baby elephant complains, the entire family will rumble and go over to touch and caress it. Elephants express grief, joy, compassion, self-awareness, altruism, and play. Elephants pay homage to the bones of their dead, gently touching the skulls and tusks with their trunks and feet. When an elephant walks past a place where a loved one has died, she will stop, offering a silent pause that can last several minutes. Elephants are one of the few species that recognize themselves in a mirror. The others are humans, apes, orcas, dolphins, and most recently discovered, magpies. Feet.